You feel it, don't you? That tight twist in your chest. That fear that if you stop caring so much, she'll forget you. But what if I told you, letting go doesn't make you weak. It makes you powerful. Let's start with a truth that no one ever told you. You care too much. And she knows it. You're always available, always texting, always checking in. You think, if I don't show her how much I care, she might walk away. But deep down, something inside you is screaming. It's tired. It's hurting. It's burning out. Because every time you chase her, every time you make her the center of your world, you lose another piece of you. Not because you're weak, not because you're wrong, but because you were taught wrong. They told you that being a good man means giving everything, being sweet, being soft, being there for her no matter what. You followed the rules. You gave and gave and gave. But what happened? She pulled away. She got bored. She stopped answering. And now you're confused, angry, lost. Why does being a good guy push her away? Let me tell you why. Because real attraction doesn't come from chasing. It comes from standing still, from being solid, from knowing your worth and walking in it. This is where Stoic detachment comes in. And no, this isn't some cold, heartless trick. This is real power. This is calm. This is choosing peace over panic. When you detach, you don't stop caring. You stop overgiving. You stop needing. You stop letting your emotions control your moves. And guess what? That makes you 10 times more attractive. Think of a mountain. It doesn't chase the wind. It doesn't beg for rain. It stands tall, still, strong, no matter the weather. That mountain? That's the man you must become. Because when you stop chasing, you give her the space to chase. When you stop talking so much, she leans into here. When you walk in peace, she feels pulled into your gravity. You don't need her approval. You don't need her attention. You don't need her love to feel like a man. You are already one. You just forgot, and it's time to remember. What if silence was your strongest weapon? What if doing nothing at all made her feel everything? Let's get one thing straight, so. You don't need to yell. You don't need to beg. You don't need to explain yourself over and over again. Sometimes, the loudest move a man can make is complete silence. Not to punish her, not to play tricks, but to protect your energy. You see, when you give someone all your attention, all the time, they stop valuing it. It becomes normal, boring, expected. But when you go quiet, when you create space, something magical happens. She starts to feel your absence. Not because you're being rude, but because you're busy building your life again. This is not about disappearing. This is about disconnecting from emotional chaos and reconnecting with yourself. Because let's be honest, when you're too close, you can't see clearly. When you're too emotional, you forget your worth. When you're always there, she forgets what it's like to miss you. But when you step back, when you choose calm instead of panic, that's when your power returns. Imagine this. You're the sun, always shining, always warm. But what happens when the sun is always out? People stop noticing it. They take it for granted. Now picture a cloudy day. Suddenly people look up. They miss the warmth. They feel the absence. That's you. You're not pulling away. You're simply letting her feel the difference between you being present and you choosing peace. So stop chasing. Start creating space. Not to punish, not to scare, but to remind her of your value. Because when a man becomes scarce, he becomes powerful. He becomes mysterious. He becomes unforgettable. You don't need noise to be heard. You don't need to chase to be loved. All you need is to walk away from the noise and into your purpose. Why do women chase the men who seem unbothered? The ones who don't flinch, don't fold, don't fawn? Let's talk about something powerful, something most men miss. It's not how tall you are. It's not how fancy your clothes are. It's not even how much money you have. It's your calm. Yes. Calmness is rare now. Most people are loud, needy, scared to be alone. They react fast, they talk too much, and they chase things that run away. But the man who stays calm, he feels like a storm that never hits. He feels like a lion just watching, waiting, knowing who he is. That energy? It's called emotional control, and it's pure gold. Here's the truth. She will test you, not always on purpose, but deep inside, she wants to see, can he stay solid, even when I go cold? Will he lose himself if I pull away? If you break down, she loses respect. If you cling harder, she loses attraction. But if you stay calm, everything changes. Being calm doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about yourself first. You don't beg for answers. You don't cry for validation. You don't panic when things feel off. Because deep down, you know that you are the prize. You know that no one else controls your peace. This is where real masculinity shows up. Not in shouting, not in proving, but in holding your ground while the world tries to shake you. Imagine a tree, a big, strong tree. The wind blows, the rain pours, but it doesn't fall. That's you. When you choose calm, she feels that strength. And guess what? She respects it. She wants to be around it. She wants to trust it. Because a man who stays calm makes her feel safe. Even when she doesn't say it, she feels it. So next time she goes distant, next time she goes quiet, don't freak out. Don't chase. Just breathe. Stay grounded and trust your value. Because the man who doesn't lose himself can never be truly lost. What happens when a man stops orbiting around her and starts orbiting around his mission? She feels it hard. And she doesn't know why. Let's get real. A lot of men are walking around like lost puppies, following women, trying to make her smile, trying to guess what she wants, trying to earn her love like it's a prize. But here's the truth. She was never meant to be your center. She was meant to be your companion. Your world isn't supposed to spin around her. It's supposed to spin around your purpose. Purpose? What does that even mean? It means having something in your life that excites you. Something that makes you forget to check your phone. Something that makes time fly because you're locked in. It could be a craft, a business, a dream, a mission that makes you feel alive. When you chase your purpose, you give off a different energy. It's focused. It's powerful. It's magnetic. Now here's where things get interesting. When a woman sees a man so driven by his mission, so busy building his life, so full without needing her to fill him up, she starts thinking, wait, who is he becoming? Why does it feel like I might lose him if I don't show up right? What is he chasing that's more exciting than me? And boom, the dynamic flips. You're not chasing her anymore. You're chasing life. And she wants to catch up. But this isn't a trick. This isn't a game. You're not ignoring her on purpose. You're just too busy becoming a man she can't ignore. There's a big difference. You're not detaching to punish. You're detaching to protect what matters. To guard your path. To build something so real, so deep, that no woman could ever be your only reason for waking up. Women admire men who are grounded in their direction. It's rare. It's attractive. It's addicting. Because a man on a mission doesn't pause his purpose just to prove himself. He doesn't beg. He builds. So ask yourself this. If she left tomorrow, would your mission stop? Or would it grow even faster? Your answer to that is the key to everything. The more you chase her, the faster she runs. But what if standing still made her chase you instead? Sounds backward. Good. That means it's real. Let's break something that's been burnt into your brain. You've been told to show effort, right? To prove how much you care. To keep texting, keep calling, keep showing her she's your number one. But guess what happens when you do that? She starts slipping away. Not because you're not good enough, but because chasing ruins the mystery, and mystery is masculine. Think about it. When a lion walks slowly, with calm eyes, it doesn't need to roar. Every animal already feels the power. The stillness is the power. Now imagine that same lion running after every bird in the field, desperate, huffing, begging for attention. That lion? Not powerful anymore, just exhausting. And that's what happens to men when they chase. When you chase her attention, you send one silent message. I need you to like me so I can like myself. And the second she feels that, she pulls away. Why? Because it doesn't feel like strength. It feels like need. And here's the secret most men never hear. Women don't want to be the sun in your sky. They want to orbit around a man who already glows. So how do you glow? You stop trying to be seen. You stop proving. You stop running after moments just to feel chosen. Instead, you sit in silence. You do less. You focus deeper. You say more with your eyes than with your words. And slowly, something strange happens. She starts wondering, what's on his mind? Why does he feel so calm? Why am I thinking about him when he's not even reaching out? That is masculine stillness. That is what chasing can never give you. You don't have to act cold. You don't have to disappear. You don't even have to be mean. You just stop begging for energy and start creating it within yourself. You become a mountain, still, silent, unshaken. And when she sees that, she doesn't run away. She gets pulled in. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. And when you master it, she starts hearing things you never even said. Sounds strange? That's because real strength doesn't shout, it whispers. Let's be honest. When a woman gives you the silent treatment or pulls back, your first instinct to panic, to ask, what did I do wrong? To chase, to fix it, to prove yourself. But stop, just stop. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. I know doing nothing feels scary. It feels like you're losing her. It feels like weakness. But real men know the truth. Silence is a weapon. Stillness is power. Because when you stay calm, you don't feed her control. You don't give her the reaction she was hoping for. You give her something stronger. Mystery. You see, most men crumble when a woman gets cold. They blow up her phone. They ask what's wrong. They over-explain. They beg for just one more chance. And by doing all that, they lose her respect because they've lost control of themselves. But you don't flinch. You breathe, you pause. You let the silence do the work. Because here's the secret. When you stay still, calm, unmoved, her own mind becomes louder than anything you could say. She starts thinking, why isn't he chasing? Does he not care anymore? Is he stronger than I thought? And boom, she's hooked. Not by force, but by curiosity. Silence creates tension, and tension creates desire. But only if you're strong enough to sit with it, without reacting. Because real masculinity isn't about being loud or fast. It's about being anchored while the storm spins around you. So next time she pulls back, let her. Let the space grow. Let the silence breathe. Let her miss the calm man who never panicked. Because silence is not weakness. It's stoic dominance. What if I told you the strongest part of you is the part she can't see, but feels the moment you enter the room? Not your body, not your smile, not your words, it's your aura. Let's talk about something deeper, something more powerful than chasing, texting, or pleasing. Let's talk about your presence, the invisible force that walks into a room before you do. The thing that makes people stop and say, "Who is that guy?" That's your aura. And guess what? It's not built by charm or fake confidence. It's built by detachment. You want to be unforgettable? Then stop trying to be liked. Start focusing on being centered. Because a man who's emotionally detached from other people's opinions, who doesn't chase attention, who doesn't need to explain himself, he shines without trying. He speaks less, but says more. He doesn't chase, but attracts. Women feel that. They can sense when you're not performing, when you're not acting cool. You just are. And that's rare. Most guys talk too much, post too much, brag too much. Why? Because deep down, they feel empty. And they want the world to feel that hole. But your power? It comes from the opposite. You are full inside. So you don't need anything from outside. That's the aura that can't be ignored. That's what makes her lean in. Ask questions. Try harder to impress you. So how do you build this aura? Not by buying things, not by showing off, not by chasing validation. You build it by doing hard things, by knowing who you are, by having goals, discipline, and peace in your soul. You build it by walking into a room and not needing anyone to like you. Detachment doesn't make you cold. It makes you dangerous. Because when you're not seeking anything, people start wanting everything from you. Especially her. So remember this. You don't have to chase to be wanted. You just have to become the man who's worth wanting. And that man? He radiates something no one can touch, but everyone can feel. What if she's not ignoring you, but chasing a version of you that no longer feels rare? Let that sink in. Not boring, not weak, not wrong, just too available. Have you ever noticed something strange? The more you gave, the more she pulled away. The more you texted, the more silent she became. The more love you showed, the less she seemed to care. You weren't crazy. You were just too easy to reach. Here's the truth no one told you. What is rare becomes valuable. What is always there becomes invisible. If she sees your name on her phone every single day, if she knows she can call you anytime, if she knows you'll say yes no matter what she does, you stop being exciting. You become part of the furniture. And deep down, that kills attraction. Because women don't chase comfort. They chase curiosity. They don't crave nice. They crave mystery. And mystery only lives in space. You need to be like fire. Warm enough to feel, but far enough to miss. You don't have to disappear. You don't need to play games. You simply need to stop giving her more than she earned. Detach from the urge to prove yourself. Detach from the fear of losing her. Detach from the belief that more effort equals more love. That's a trap. Instead, live your life. Build your body. Sharpen your mind. Protect your peace. Because the moment you become rare again, she will start chasing the version of you she almost forgot existed. The one who had purpose. The one who didn't need her. The one who was whole without her. That's the man she fell for. Not the one who begged, but the one who was busy becoming great. She doesn't want to feel like she already has you. She wants to feel like she still has to earn you. So make yourself rare again and watch her heart start racing like it used to. If your emotions control you, she will never feel safe with you, ever. Boom. Let that hit you. Not because you're bad, but because you're unstable in her eyes. And women don't trust instability. They test it, they poke it, they run from it. Let's get real for a second. Have you ever been ghosted and thought, maybe if I send one more long message, she'll understand how much I care? You pour your feelings out like a flood, waiting for her to answer with love. But she doesn't. She pulls further away. Why? Because you broke your frame. You let your emotions leak out all over the floor. You gave her your power, and she didn't ask for it. Women don't run from emotion. They run from emotional chaos. Big difference. When you lose control of your reactions, you stop feeling like a rock and start looking like a storm. Loud, shaky, scary. But here's the power play. Emotional detachment isn't about being cold. It's about being calm. It's about knowing something hurts and still choosing to respond with clarity instead of panic. Think about it like this. A king doesn't shout. He doesn't chase. He doesn't freak out when the kingdom shakes. He commands with stillness, with silence, with strength. That's what emotional detachment gives you. Not numbness, but mastery. It gives you the power to say, I see what's happening, and I choose peace. I feel that pain, but I won't let it make me weak. She's pulling away, but I won't start dancing for her attention. This kind of energy, it's what makes a man unforgettable, not because he's dramatic, but because he's unshakable. And when she sees that, when she feels it, her mind goes wild. Why isn't he affected like the others? Why is he so calm, so focused? That's when the game flips. She goes from testing you to trying to figure you out. So next time your emotions start roaring, don't explode. Don't beg. Don't prove. Just sit still. Be the ocean. Let the waves crash. But don't drown in them. Because she doesn't fall for the loudest man in the room. She falls for the one who feels like peace. Even when everything is falling apart. Real confidence doesn't walk into the room and shout. It just stands there. And everyone feels it. Let me ask you something deep. Have you ever met a man who didn't try to impress anyone, and yet everybody noticed him? He didn't have fancy clothes. He didn't flash money. He didn't brag about girls, cars, or status. He just was. Still, strong, grounded. That right there is real confidence. And it's the final key to mastering emotional detachment without losing your masculinity. See, most guys think confidence is about loud energy, showing off, acting tough, being the alpha in the room. But that's not strength. That's performance. And deep down, women can feel when it's fake. Real confidence doesn't need an audience. It comes from something invisible, something quiet but powerful. It comes from competence, from discipline, from knowing who you are and not needing anyone to tell you your worth. When you detach, when you let go of needing her reply, when you stop chasing her love like it's oxygen, you finally breathe your own air again. And when a woman sees that you can survive, even thrive, without her, she can't stop thinking about you. Why? Because now you're rare. You're not like the others who beg, prove, and plead. You're a man who is full already. Let's break it down simply. Confidence isn't a suit. It's a spine. It's what keeps you standing tall when things fall apart. It's what lets you smile without needing anyone to smile back. It's what makes a woman feel deep in her chest, I could lose this man if I play games. And that changes everything. So what now? Now you walk with calm power. You make her feel your absence when you're gone, and your peace when you're around. You don't yell, you don't chase. You lead from within. Because real masculinity is not about controlling her. It's about controlling yourself. When you do that, you don't just become attractive. You become unforgettable. You become free. And that, brother, is the most dangerous kind of man a woman will ever meet. Not because you hurt her, but because you didn't need her to feel whole. And that kind of power leaves a permanent mark on her soul.